And we're live.
Yeah, I'm turning you down, actually.
We're actually live.
We are live. So, good evening, everyone. Thank you for joining us on our third official episode on the Dissent show. It is, once again, our Sunday show. We're really excited about what we have to talk about. Thank you for those who've actually followed us on Twitter, subscribed on Facebook, and liked us on Facebook and subscribed on YouTube. If you have not done so, go ahead and subscribe on YouTube. It's bit.ly/Dissent show. Once you have actually subscribed on the YouTube channel, feel free to go ahead and set up the notifications anytime we upload a new actual video, whether that be a full episode or the fact that we're going to go live at a certain time or one of our highlight videos. You'll be able to see that right away, watch that video, like, subscribe, comment, do everything that you do. As far as Twitter, you can follow us at Dissent Show. That's DISSENT Show. And you can also follow me and my co-host Ali. Ali is at ALI. Once again, that privileged tag there, only 2 or 3 letters. But as one of our fans actually said earlier, His Majesty can be found at ALI. So, and mine is at Devon Wills, DEVONWILLS. And Ali, you want to say hello to your Periscope viewers, which I'm actually one of those.
Broadcasting live on YouTube and Google. A lot of you guys are tuning in via Twitter. I have many of my friends and supporters here on Periscope, so I just want to say hello to you guys. Make sure that you go to bit.ly.com/Dissent Show. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. That's where we're broadcasting live. We need those subscription numbers to go up every week so that we can increase the production quality, make a set, and do so much more that I think that y'all will enjoy. But I'm so happy that y'all are here on Periscope and happy that y'all are here on YouTube and Google. And welcome, welcome.
Great. I'm actually going to go ahead and join in on the YouTube channel. If you are logged into YouTube, there is a chat feature on the right side. Feel free to join us in conversation, join in the dialogue. We will try to address those as quickly as possible and kind of integrate them into our actual show. We had a tweet go out earlier on the Dissent Show Twitter. It gave you instructions. Step 1, subscribe to the YouTube channel. Step 2, follow us on Twitter. And Step 3, mention us. Say that you have done both of them, and we will actually give you a shout-out during this. And so we do appreciate everything. One thing I want to jump into, UFC 202 last night was...
My Twitter was going crazy. What happened? Did I miss the fight of the century or something?
It should have been the fight of the century. This is actually, if any of you follow UFC, what happened last night should have been UFC 200.
What does that mean?
So, if you're not familiar with UFC, they do a highlighted pay-per-view actual event every month, and with that, they just give it a number. So, a couple months ago, it was UFC 200. It was supposed to be the rematch from UFC 196, which was Conor McGregor and Nate Diaz. And so Conor McGregor is the best trash talker of all time.
Is he like that Irish guy?
He is. Yes. Yes. Always wearing the custom suits. Always, just talking trash to whoever. The last thing he said just a couple weeks ago, he was calling out everybody in the WWE, which many of you should know that Brock Lesnar, who fights in the UFC,
WWE like WWF fake wrestling?
Yes. Yes. So Brock Lesnar is a WWE superstar as well as a UFC fighter, and he fights in the heavyweight division. And so Brock Lesnar actually responded to that call out just I guess either yesterday or the day before. This is pretty funny. A lot of drama that surrounds Conor McGregor because he does talk so much trash. He typically can back it up. I want to say it was February, I do believe. I forget what month it was, but he beat Jose Aldo for the featherweight championship of the world. He actually knocked Jose Aldo out in 13 seconds. It was the fastest championship bout in UFC history. It was very impressive. at that point in time, he wanted to move up weight classes and go after the next guy and all of that. And Nate Diaz wound up being able to fight him in 196. My opinion, McGregor, controlled most of the fight, and then in round 2, he turned his back to Diaz, which he's a black belt in jiu-jitsu, choked him out. So they had this rematch. To fast forward, they had this rematch scheduled for UFC 200, and 200 was supposed to be that bicentennial, major event, big players coming out, big money being spent, all this kind of stuff. And Conor McGregor got tired of all the press that was required, so he decided, he didn't want to fight, or he was going to retire practically because they wouldn't allow him to stop going to press conferences and stuff like that. So fast forward, he comes out of retirement, which it never was official anyway, and decides, hey, they're going to do 202. So they did all these fights of people, honestly, I've never heard of, even all the way up to the fight prior to McGregor. And in the fight with McGregor, nobody got knocked out, nobody got choked out. They didn't even go to the – yeah, it went to a decision. It was a split decision. And as far as the fight itself, it did not go to the ground, which is kind of Nate Diaz's, with his jiu-jitsu background, he's one of the submission kind of guys. It didn't go to the ground until like 20 minutes before the end of the round, or the end of the match. And there just wasn't a clear-cut Conor McGregor won, Nate Diaz won, because if you like Nate Diaz, you saw some really good things. He threw some excellent punches. Should have been knocked out several times. I mean, the guy's got a rock-hard chin. I mean, most of those shots that he took from Conor McGregor would have knocked out any featherweight. It was actually very impressive. But the fight wound up going to Conor McGregor, and then McGregor, at the very end starts talking crap. I mean, right away, saying, who's surprised now? The king is back. All this. So they're talking about possibly doing, a trilogy of this, like a third fight to make it.
It's all about the money with these things.
Oh, definitely. Definitely. I tweeted the other day. I said I missed the time whenever UFC was more about the fight rather than the drama and all of the hype. And the hype, in the press conferences, it's entertaining. However, I don't know if you know about this, but they had their press conference at the beginning of the week, and whenever McGregor showed up, which he showed up late, which is kind of his MO, that's what he does. Diaz walked out. And then Conor started throwing stuff at Diaz. So they started throwing water bottles at each other. They started throwing like monster cans, which is one of my spots.
I like for there to be healthy sportsmanship. I believe in skill. Be it chess, be it politics, or be it UFC and fighting. I like to see two competitors showcasing their skill and going at it.
Oh yeah. Well, what's funny is I didn't even see the press conference, and then the very next day I see It's a. I'll give you a second. Apparently, we have that's one of our ads on our live stream. Oops. But as far as the actual article I saw, the headline was Diaz and McGregor to face lawsuits from hitting people with water bottles and. I do see your Periscope comment actually, but anyway, so. The fight, it was kind of, I wouldn't say it was controversial, but it was a big deal.
Did you agree with the decision?
Yeah, I'm actually a Conor McGregor fan because just like I would have been a Muhammad Ali fan back in the day.
Yeah.
They can talk trash and they can back it up. Muhammad Ali wasn't undefeated. He got beat every now and again. But it's the ability to draw people. It's a spectator sport, and without fans and without people interested in the actual event, you're going to lose it. And so. I'm a businessman. I'm a capitalist. I'm somebody who I have a very entrepreneurial spirit about myself, and so whenever it comes to business and people growing and making their money, I support Conor McGregor. And I want to say that Nate Diaz before 196, UFC 196, when they originally fought, Nate Diaz made like $42,000 in his previous fight. When he fought Conor McGregor in 196, he made $500,000. In less than 15 minutes. So you tell me, who's bringing the money? Because actually Conor McGregor was guaranteed $1 million in that fight. He's one of the most high. I think he's a high. Yeah, he's a high. I think he's the highest paid UFC fighter at this point in time.
So we had a commenter on my Periscope ask, is he really going to fight Brock Lesnar in the WWE? And I know that we're over time for this segment, but what if you could have some semblance of an answer and an anchor on it.
No, it's not going to happen. Conor McGregor is a featherweight. They weigh 155. Brock Lesnar's over 2-something. So in order for that to happen, Brock Lesnar would have to shed 30 pounds, and Conor McGregor would need to gain another 20 pounds for that to even be remotely an option.
But is that if they fight in the UFC, or I mean, is there a chance that he could go wrestle?
Well, I mean, if they put him in the I don't. Conor McGregor's biggest part of this comment was about how fake the WWE is and how they're not real athletes. It was more based on how fake WWE is and not about, hey, I could beat them up. It was, you guys aren't actual fighters. I'm a real fighter. So I don't think he would sacrifice him saying I'm a real fighter and go into the WWE. And everything. The reason UFC is as big as it is now is it's sanctioned from the Nevada Athletic Commission. So because of that sanction, there's rules, weight classes, regulations regarding that. So it most likely will not happen.
Yeah. Well, earlier in the show we had some lagging issues told to us by a producer, so we apologize for anybody who got lagged behind. And then we appreciate A-Rod showing up in the YouTube live comments. We always love loyal friends and followers of the show. Devin, one of the words I hate is fans. And I've always said this. People know that I do this for the cause. I don't do this for money. I make money doing consulting, helping PACs, nonprofits, campaigns in their respective spheres of influence and stuff like that. But I've always thought, man, no matter how big or small I am, I'll never have fans because who wants a fan when you can have a brand loyalist, a friend, a follower, somebody committed to the same cause as you? I want to lead an army. But every army needs multiple, lieutenants, corporals, generals, majors.
Yeah, and I mean, fan is generated from fanatic, and I hate when people are like, yeah, I'm a fan of that. So you're a fanatic? Like, I don't see you wearing the colors. I don't see you wearing the logo. All that kind of stuff. It's like, let's, not to, split hairs and get into all the semantics, but yeah, definitely understand. I mean, the loyalty is the biggest thing. The camaraderie, knowing that you're doing something with someone else that is not just there because they support you, but because they believe in what's actually happening. And I think that's the difference between sports and real life is that, when you're creating jobs or you're creating content or you're creating dialogue or discourse, it's something that you can really back up more than you can say, hey, I love Tom Brady. As you can see back here, I got Patriots, Texas Rangers, and the Stars. And, I'm a fan of every team, but I'm not, if the NFL went away tomorrow, I wouldn't be heartbroken because
this commenter says on Periscope, making connections and working on ideas. I love that.
Yeah, most definitely. And that's, hey, knowing Ali and knowing his ideology, kind of his philosophy on life and business, that's exactly, I mean that's why I'm here because of the things that you've taught me regarding, networking, making connections, throwing around ideas, pursuing those ideas.
So, and look at this contrast. You got the black man wearing black and a solid black, and the white man wearing solid white. I mean,
I would like to say this was planned, but I definitely did not plan this. I was like, I was thinking about. I was like, what shirt do I have that's clean, comfortable, and I got a drawer full of white T-shirts that I wear for undershirts, and I was like, I'm just gonna go with that. No logo, no hassle.
It's nice. I like it.
So
you're looking good, boy. You're looking good.
Oh, it makes me look tanner too because it's so.
It does. The contrast. So let's talk about Trump. I mean, I mean, there's no other way to phrase this. This has been a successful pivot for the Trump train that was kind of wobbling off the tracks. Let's be honest, it was off the tracks, headed for a landslide disaster, regardless of what people want to believe. But that's what the aggregate of polls were telling us. That's what the experts on both sides were telling us. That's what I was telling y'all. But Kellyanne Conway takes over for message. Steve Bannon takes over the day-to-day operation. Paul Manafort heads out. It sounds like there's more critical thinking going on in the campaign. And it was weird. We started seeing some of this, but his North Carolina speech, I think I watched that live. You didn't catch it live, but what did you think? I don't think we've talked since you watched the actual footage, but I do think I called you and was like, oh my God.
Yeah. You reached out to me. You're like, Trump just made the best speech and the most important speech of this election cycle. And
not just his campaign, not just this election cycle. Donald Trump may have given one of the most important political speeches, at least top 10, in the past 30 or 40 years. And I know that that's awkward, and I know that people think I'm fanboying over Donald Trump, but his speech, especially if there's follow-through, and he has shown that he's willing to keep hammering this, which I'm the only person in the country who's tweeted that he needed to hammer the black vote every single time he spoke, and he is. And Steve Bannon and I are friends, so I'm not going to take credit for it. All I know is it's a great move, because if you do that, you break the entire electoral system. You shake everything up.
Yeah.
That shakes everything up all over the world. It's pretty exciting that regardless of what your politics are, that we could live in a time where the electorate might get shaken up, and that benefits we the people. In my opinion.
The speech itself, I think once again I'm echoing from. Get real passionate. No, but I watched the speech earlier. I actually watched it today while I was traveling, and time and time again, Trump says these things, and you're like, okay, it sounds good, but the other things that you're saying sound ludicrous. It sounds good, but you're using, like you and I have talked before, he likes to say quickly. It's going to happen quickly all the time. But this speech in Charlotte hit on everything that he needed to hit on throughout the entire election cycle.
And he used a teleprompter.
Yeah, he did. You could definitely tell. Whenever he starts reading names, it's kind of embarrassing because he wants to get them correctly. So
right.
He just
slows down and chops it up.
It's like the LGBTQ, and for the RNC, he's like LGBTQ. It's like okay, we get the point.
He forced it out. Q.
Yeah, exactly.
But still, you're right. It's his intent that counts, and he said it, and that counts. It could have flowed better, but what we've learned is that just because you got all the flow, don't mean you got any of the policy.
Yeah,
right? As we should hope and change.
Look at the contrast regarding the teleprompter. When Obama doesn't have the teleprompter, he was trying to. I don't know if you ever saw that video where he's trying to tell a joke, like hate on, throwing some shade at Donald Trump, and the teleprompter shut off in the middle of his joke, and he was like, it was ridiculous. He couldn't get to it, and then he finally said something that was like totally like it's kind of like George Bush's fool me once, shame on you, fool me twice. You're not gonna fool me again. So it's pretty funny. I do appreciate how he has spoken away from the teleprompter. But just as far as like kind of trusting himself, but yeah, it's much better as far as the business side and being able to control.
Are you riding on the Trump train? Are you proud to be? Or are you not? What?
I haven't. I'm not flying my Trump flag per se, but I support him. I'm gonna. He has my vote. I would vote Gary Johnson, but the imminent threat of Hillary Clinton scares me a lot more than the imminent threat of anything else. Her influences from the international community, her influences from Wall Street, just as Trump said in his speech, she looks at the African American community as votes. She doesn't give a crap about them. She doesn't care about the inner city communities. She doesn't care about the low high school graduation rate or the low employment rate or anything like that. She cares about the black outreach for her is to get votes. It has nothing to do with actually putting in policies that are going to change those communities, that are going to change.
She's been in politics for 30 or 40 years. She didn't fix Arkansas. She didn't fix New York. She didn't fix D.C. while she was first lady.
But she named some museums and stuff as a senator of New York. That's important, right? You could write that down on her list of awesome.
Yeah. A commenter on Periscope says Hillary cares about Hillary
only.
Yeah, I think everybody knows that on both sides of the aisle and the media, but we're not allowed to mention it. And if we mention it, we're only allowed to mention it in passing. I want to know who you guys are voting for, our audience. Tell us on YouTube and on Periscope, who are you guys voting for president? Because this isn't a show that's only pro one candidate, or we're telling you how to vote or what to believe. Some of our friends are voting for Gary Johnson. I met Jill Stein, and she's a real awesome lady. I don't exactly line up with her platform, but I'm clearly anti Hillary Clinton. So is Devon and our producer Giuseppe. We got 100% Trump so far on the Periscope feed, though. So I guess that about solves that. But yeah, fantastic speech in North Carolina. He came to Louisiana, did some great stuff here. We'll talk about that in the next segment here in about 10 minutes or so. And but then he went to Michigan, right outside of Lansing, and he stuck to the speech. Same message. I was so impressed because the media couldn't write it off. So then I knew that they would go into full panic mode, Devin. They were like, he spoke to a mostly white audience. Okay, well then what's the point of having cable news television cameras there? Or C-SPAN. I mean, isn't he talking to the world, essentially?
Yeah.
You have a local audience and a global audience. I mean,
you can't help the demographic of where he's going.
Right.
That's like Barack Obama going to, Chicago, inner city Chicago, and then be like, oh, he's speaking to a whole bunch of African Americans. Well, what do you mean?
Hillary Clinton beat Bernie Sanders because he won the white states and she won the mixed states in the Democratic primary. That's how it. A lot of people don't understand it. That's why we saw the upset in both Rhode Island and Indiana, which were forecasted in the 90% something column for her. It's big upset. I actually lost a lot of money on the Indiana bet because I bet on her, which, again, it was 93% probability that she was going to win it. But the state was uber white.
Meanwhile, she's sending emails, throughout the DNC about, calling out religion, calling out race, people making fun of, all that kind of stuff. It's so twofold, and to talk on the
twofold, two-faced.
Two-faced. There we go. Hey, good call. Anyway, this is how our phone conversations go. Actually, we sit there and I say something, you're like, I don't think that's the word you're looking for, Devin. I'm like,
This is not the word you're looking for. I do the same thing. I make up words though. I don't.
Yes, you do. Especially when you're angry. When you're angry, some of the most
really
ludicrous, ridiculous things come out, and I've coined them, and actually I've yes. I've put them out there FCB? With other FBC, and if
okay,
yeah, which is weird because it just reminds me of church. But anyway, yeah, the Trump speeches were great. This past week has been.
But look, wait, I wanted to say this before we moved on.
Yeah.
Hillary speaks to mostly white audiences. Why does the press never point that out? Why is she able to talk to?
What are you talking about? Bateen's dad was in.
Oh yeah, unless there's a terrorist father behind her.
Yeah.
She's speaking to a brown crowd.
Yeah, it's so two-faced, and I can't believe, to say something that to point out what Trump was saying, he talked about how she's part of the establishment, she's part of the inner circle, the inner workings, and nobody will ever talk about it. He talked about how CNN will take something that he said and dissect it and spend a week, until their heads explode, analyzing what he said, and they don't look at anything Hillary's doing.
It's about what he said and not what she did.
Yeah.
She set the world on fire. She's called black super predators. She made an anti-Semitic remark saying, and I'm just going to quote what she said, that fucking Jew bastard about Bill Clinton's campaign manager in a campaign that he lost. She's ruthless. When it comes to people. She's, and the press tries to paint, well, she's not a good speaker, and she hasn't always connected with people. No, she's a mean person. She's a very mean, rotten individual who's been entitled since she lied and committed serious ethics violations during the Watergate Commission, which got her fired. for violating the law and ethics.
I wish we could talk to Vince Foster about that Watergate.
Vince Foster is the unknown guest to our show.
Every week. I mean, I'm sorry. It makes no sense that a man that was so decorated and so admired and had a family and just seemed to be, they're like, well, maybe he was stressful. Maybe he was taking, there was nothing. There was no history of, like, mental imbalance. And, this is, if the Clintons called me up today and be like, hey, we like your little YouTube show, come work for us, I'd be like, I would run. I would move to Mexico. I would go somewhere else because sooner or later I would have a headstone and I would no longer breathe. I would cease to live. I mean, they're trouble, man. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, I'll tell you this. I was standing on stage with Jill Stein when she was giving a speech to about 5,000 people, and I was standing there getting footage. I wasn't standing there in support of the Green Party or anything like that. And I kept thinking, like, you know what? If a bullet just happened to hit her, because she's hitting Hillary hard during this election, if a bullet happened to hit her, I'm probably going to get caught in, I don't want to call it the crossfire, in the targeting of another Clinton opponent.
Yeah.
You know?
Oh, it's speaking of Jill Stein, I do find it funny on Facebook the other day. He said you made mention of being in, like, a relationship, and somebody said, "Are you in a relationship with Jill Stein?" Well, whatever, because your actual Facebook profile picture. But yeah, I definitely agree as far as anytime you're opposing Hillary Clinton hardcore and you're speaking to thousands, if not more people, you're going to have a target on you. Period. It doesn't matter. I mean, they may never do anything, but they're listening, they're watching, they're doing something to people that they feel, anything that could possibly backfire on them, they're going to be keeping tabs on. So, but yeah.
How's the wife, Jessica?
How's Jessica? She's doing great. We spent some time in Richmond this weekend. I have a good friend of mine who lives out there. We get to see them every, like, maybe 6 months. So it was great. A great time. That's how I was able to watch the Trump speech. I watched it on the way. We were driving on down the road. So very, very good relaxing trip. Spent some time on the river, that kind of thing. So she really enjoyed herself. I think it's back to the grind tomorrow, and then she actually is going on a trip to Hawaii. She is one of her best friends who live in Hawaii.
Ali is an eco-socialist. That's funny. Did he get Periscope? They want to know again, Devin, did you get Periscope?
I do have Periscope, and I can see the comments. I'm not Periscoping myself. I'm watching the actual feed.
Yeah. So Devin is right here in Periscope, on my Periscope. He's not streaming live, but we'll work on getting you guys second, third angles and stuff like that. I can't wait for you all to see what we have planned for this show because, the quality is going to get better. We're going to have a chyron at the bottom. We're going to have an actual show website. We're going to really try to roll out the red carpet for y'all because this show is important for us to collaborate. We want to encourage dissent, and that means for us challenging the elites and bringing them to heel. That means challenging the status quo. That means that the people, regardless of the left or right, we deserve more of what is ours than the wealthy elite, which try to sound right-leaning while they're funding left and liberal movements with their other hand. I mean, the duplicity has to stop. Bipartisanship should be met through a rigorous debate in which we compromise where not to keep punching each other, and we focus on what we can agree on. Bipartisanship shouldn't mean that lobbyists from both sides get together to see how they can raise the threshold in regulations and taxes and fees and finances or education so that it protects the Fortune 500 companies. Dissent and the Dissent show here on Sunday is wholly opposed to that, and we're going to build what I've been calling a together majority. We're going to talk frank about race and bring about reconciliation. We're going to recognize some of our own prejudices, and then we're going to move on, but still recognizing that we have to legislate against people acting on those prejudices when it comes to delivering products or services that have been made public, or publicly traded companies like Twitter censoring, just flat out censoring conservatives.
Free Milo.
Yeah, that's what the show is going to be about. This show is going to be about all of us here on the Dissent Show, me, Devin, Giuseppe, and it's going to be about y'all on Periscope and y'all on YouTube and Twitter and Google. You know, we're going to connect wherever the people are. Now I'm on Gab, gab.ai/Ali if you want to follow me if you are one of the people who are beta testing that. The show's been really fun. Why don't you plug all the pluggers? I guess since we're mid-show, let's plug the show, because there's important things that we need so many of you guys doing. Because again, if we're not growing the show, then Devin and I aren't going to commit our own personal resources into growing the production. So if you want to see us grow the production, y'all have got to grow our numbers. That means you got to share us on Twitter while we're live. You got to share us on Facebook when we put out the highlights from our Facebook fan page, and they've got to subscribe. Where can they do all of that, Devin?
So you can subscribe to the YouTube channel at bit.ly/Dissent Show. Once again, Dissent is DISSENT. Once you have actually subscribed on YouTube, feel free to go ahead and set up the notifications. Those notifications will let you know when we post new videos, when we schedule a new live stream, and you'll just be the first people to know. And when you do watch, like the video, subscribe if you have not already. Comment. We do like interjecting with you guys, talking about the different thoughts you may have, kind of the jokes. I think that's where I'd say at least 50% of the humor of this show comes from the comments from our viewers. So feel free to subscribe. We really appreciate all the support there. And if you like one of the videos, share the video. Share it on your Facebook. Share it on your Twitter. The more views we get, the more subscribers we get, the more we're able to do with the show. Right now, we're actually trying to get to at least 30 subscribers, because at that 30, we can set our URL to a custom URL, so we don't actually have to keep using the bit.ly link, which is pretty nice in itself. But yeah, so also, if you have not followed us on Twitter, it's at Dissent Show, DISSENT Show, and you can always use the hashtag Dissent. Yeah, what's that? I can see Ali looking at his Periscope, raising his eyebrows.
I'm just flirting with them. They're throwing some serious hearts at me. I figure I better wink back.
What are the hearts on Periscope? I see them.
So you just tap your screen and then the hearts come up. And so what Periscope does, debate classes sometime soon, Ali. I forgot. I did commit to that.
You did. I have it written down on a piece of paper I threw away yesterday.
Yeah, I forgot what the threshold is. You got to determine a threshold in which I'm willing to do that. Maybe we'll do 55 YouTube subscribers, and then we'll have a special Sunday show just debated to debate techniques, specifically focusing on Lincoln Douglas style and how you can give a successful claim warrant impact statement and get your opponent to drop contentions, and how to successfully refute their best ones after uniting on definitions and a value.
Side note, don't use these tactics in friendship debates.
Yeah, I've lost a couple of friends by handing them their ass.
Yeah, exactly. So once again, just to kind of reiterate, bit.ly/Dissent Show. Subscribe. We are also on Facebook, facebook.com/Dissent Show. Follow me and Ali on Twitter as well, at ALI, and then at Devon Wills, DEVONWILLS. We do have our producer, Giuseppe Cucci, switching the camera angles and doing all the good stuff on the back end, and doing the highlight videos and helping us get our stories and what we're going to talk about. His Twitter account is at GCUCCI12, so at GCucci12. So we do appreciate the follows, we do appreciate the shares, the comments, everything. Spread the word. The more you spread the word, the more we can do, and we do appreciate everybody, who has done that already or have done that already, and yeah. So Ali, I actually one of the things that has been quite heavy hitting on my heart this week has been the Louisiana floods. We kind of discussed them on Wednesday. I got in arguments with family members and friends throughout the week.
Pardon? So what'd you do this time?
Oh, a lot of people are projecting race and just things that are it's asinine, really. They're projecting all this ridiculous crap into a natural disaster. People saying, well, where's BLM and where's the Black Panther Party? During this time, where are these organizations when and this is what gets me is on these memes. It's like this African American lady trying to gather her stuff while standing in floodwater, and then they're trying to point out, is Black Lives, is the Black Lives Matter organization going to come help? It's more than just African Americans. It's more than just Caucasians. It's more than Hispanics. They're Americans. They're citizens of this country that are suffering, and a flood, a natural disaster, doesn't see race, doesn't see social class, doesn't see religion or what you live in or where you came from. It is there. It's going to happen no matter what. It doesn't matter if you're red, black, blue, purple, orange, whatever. And people, trying to politicize it and project race in this, it's just it's ignorant, and it's putting a wedge further and further between races and drawing attention away from the need and putting it on, just ignorant banter that is not, I would say, witty, but it's not witty. It's just straight freaking ignorance, and it's irritating. But anyways, yeah, I see that you've done a lot of things. You've actually offered up your house. We've talked about this. You've offered up your house and just where you live to strangers, to friends that may need a place to stay because your house wasn't hit. I do know that you actually put out a Facebook post on your fan page. Should I say your loyalist page? On your Facebook fan page, just talking about the needs and giving links to places they can donate, things that they can actually do. I do know you've also been actually connecting with different organizations such as churches and some other people, having people ship items and goods, literally, thousands of pounds of goods over to Louisiana to help people out. And, I did see actually today also, you Snapchatted where you were working and a lot of the stuff. I saw you in your tennis shoes covered in dust with a mask on, all that kind of stuff. Mad respect, and also I'm incredibly jealous because I wish I was there. I have family that have been affected by this. Wish I had the vacation time to take away from from work and actually get down there. I work at a university, that's why I said that. But where were you at today? What did you do? Seriously, I want to know everything.
Yeah, so we didn't get to talk much this weekend, because I say that Baton Rouge is the soft place in America's heart right now because last month we had the Alton Sterling shooting, and regardless of what side you fall on that, there's an investigation currently going on. It was tragic that 5 children are without their father. Yeah. It's tragic that there was a loss of life. We had the protest in the morning and the memorials, and then we had Black Lives Matter and then the new Black Panthers Party, and then Marxists show up, and so then we had a bunch of arrests. Then a man from Missouri who is effectively a terrorist came and he killed 3 of our officers and injured another 3. This follows Dallas. I was in Cleveland for I had just arrived, just put up my stuff, turned on the TV to find that the place I live and love, our officers were being hunted and gunned down and ambushed, and it broke my heart. And then now this month we have a historic flood, a flood that is now in the top 5 of all U.S. national disasters in terms of cost. There's already been assessed $21 billion worth of damage. That figure is going to climb. This affected 100,000 homes, representing 300,000 people. Over 30,000 people were rescued, many of those by volunteers and not our government. 13 people have died, which is an extraordinary number and speaks to the innovation and technology and the goodwill and southern hospitality of the people of this region. We're suffering. There's just no other way to put it. We are hurting. Baton Rouge is hurting. And the places that were hurt the worst were Denham Springs, the city of Central, then some Walton, and then I was in Walker today, which is right by Denham Springs, and the family that I was helping was the Davis family. They're very political. They're Republican. This was the third day that I offered myself and my body up for volunteering, because for me, it's very easy for people in my position to say, well, I'm doing enough good because I have a megaphone. And I am doing more good, honestly, behind a keyboard than I can do as one person in someone's house. I'll always believe that. But it is important to lead by example. It is important to get on the ground and comfort people, suffer with people, show them the love from one human to another. If you're a person of faith like me, the love of Christ. We are called to do two things: to love God and love people. And I try to live that out so that people can see that I'm more than hashtags, and I'm about more than and I want people to do more than hashtags. And it's sometimes it's easy for some people who are wealthy to give money. Well, you're also called to do the hard things. So do the easy things and do the hard things. That's what I've tried to do. Is I've just tried to do everything I can. Volunteer my time, coordinate thousands of pounds worth of supplies coming into the state, offer up my home, tear out some sheetrock, gut some insulation, crack some porcelain bowls. It's a putrid smell. And when I walked into my house today to get ready for our show, I was like tracking white stuff everywhere, and I realized I am tracking in someone's home. Literally, their soggy walls and everything that they owned is represented now on my floor. And that's really tough. And I'll say this: most of my friends in Louisiana lost everything. It would be weird if it was just one friend. I mean, that would still be devastating. I really want people to let that sink in. I'm not even from Louisiana, and most of my friends in this state have lost everything. The people who were born here and raised here and have so much more family here or friends here, they're in that same position where most of the people they know lost everything. There are 100,000 homes that have all of their possessions out in front of their front yard. And I really want people to understand this. There's some people who don't like comparing this to Katrina, and there's some people that do. All I can tell you is that this affected mostly white areas. This affected mostly suburban homes. Everyone was caught off guard by what flooded and what didn't. And there are 100,000 homes that have 100% of their stuff in their front yard. Their front yard is covered with insulation, doors, fabrics, furniture, wood, shelves, cabinets, bathtubs, windows, doorknobs, memories, quilts, yarn, paperwork, past tax filings, clothes, from a flood that lasted a week. It's horrible. It's devastating. And it's not just the tone deafness, it's the absolute disrespect by President Obama and former Secretary Hillary Clinton so that they could go on a vacation, one where she flew a private jet 20 miles to go visit with Barack Obama this past weekend, is insane. It is unbecoming of America. It is unbecoming of the office of presidency. And thank God Donald Trump showed up here, because even the AP girl here in Baton Rouge, and I don't want to out anybody or put anybody in these precarious positions, but the AP was like, we're trying to get as much attention as we can. The New York Times came out and apologized, saying we didn't put any resources there till Sunday. It had already been raining and flooding for 3 days before they devoted one reporter to this story. People died. Everything is ruined. The places that flooded are places where most people don't have flood insurance. The people who have really good insurance are going to be recovering 60 or 70% of their lives. I mean, what is happening is absolutely devastating. And even me as a conservative, I'm for whatever aid we can give. If some of that's going to come from the government, then some of it's going to come from the government. But I am so tired of Los Angeles and these West Coast, left coast tragedies getting attention, and Superstorm Sandy. It wasn't a hurricane. Superstorm Sandy on the eve of an election getting attention, but Tuscaloosa, when it was ravished by tornadoes that killed people, tornadoes that ruined minds, tornadoes that stripped schools and people's lives, President Barack Obama was nowhere to be found. When where was it? Was it West Texas? I forgot what city that was in Texas, where there was that giant explosion. Barack Obama was nowhere to be found. When the Houston floods. There's so many tragedies that have happened under this administration that just shock me that the White House can be silent on. That the White House's press release that came days later, there's been no televised address, and then the press release that comes not days later, it came like almost a week later, mentions Martha's Vineyard. This is not America. This is so unbecoming that I'm really trying to control my language and my temper right now because, and I was asked by Fox News today, I went there to the House to work. Little did I know I was going to run into a U.S. Senate candidate, the RNC committee woman, other people, and Fox News would show up. But I was asked, would you want Hillary Clinton and Barack Obama here? I said, absolutely. We need as much attention as possible. And the governor of this state is a Democrat who I supported, the first Democrat over Republican I've ever supported, John Bel Edwards. He covered for Barack Obama. He covered for him, saying he would provide a distraction. He shouldn't come here for 2 months. Okay. Well, now Barack Obama had to reverse his decision because Donald Trump showed up. That's leadership. And so I commend Donald Trump for showing up. The people of Louisiana commend Donald Trump for showing up. We thank him for his $100,000 donation. We thank him for the 18-wheeler full of supplies, baby diapers, baby food, Play-Doh for the children, because there's no daycares. When you're cleaning up, it's important that your child be safe and not kidnapped or playing with glass. So giving them Play-Doh is actually a great thing. And I'm watching Democrats turn entirely partisan and not care about my friends who are suffering. It's maddening, Devin. I got to stop before I get really mad. But there's a time for politics and there's a time for not. But there's always a time to combat people who make it partisan. So I'm not making it partisan by responding to Democrat partisanship. I'm hitting them in the face twice as hard so that they won't do it again. It's a rule in poker. When they get on your front porch, shoot them, and they won't do it again. And that's what I plan to do with every Democrat who makes a snipe about Donald Trump's charity when Hillary Clinton hasn't done anything, and she's a multi-millionaire. When Bill Clinton hasn't visited, when Barack Obama hasn't visited, when they're going to attack Donald Trump for giving Play-Doh to children. I'm going to attack these people when the governor can do something so shameless as to cover for the president's absence. When his people need him, he is still our president. We employ him. We the people. I'm gonna bite back on that partisanship. I'm gonna bite back all damn day on that bullshit.
Yeah, it's disgraceful to our country that unless it fits the narrative, unless it has something to do with I'm not trying to politicize this, but unless they do it. Unless it has anything to do with like gun control or mass shooting or anything like that, they don't care. They don't care that $20 billion. That is
$21 billion so far.
$21 billion. That is a number that should stick out to anyone regarding damage. This is over 100,000 homes. This is over 300,000 people. And you have people coming from Texas. You have people coming from Mississippi, coming down from
where the Clintons are from.
Yeah, you have people, and this. I hate to side with Michelle Obama on anything. However, the Good Samaritan Act and the people that have stretched their dollars, the people that have used their gas, used what they are blessed with to help the people of Louisiana and even in Mississippi, America is still great. America is still great. We just could be even greater, you know. And you know, as far as the narrative, you know, like I was saying, unless it fits what they want, you know, I don't understand how, you know, a couple people might get shot and then, you know, Barack Obama's up on stage, a couple people get shot, you know, Hillary Clinton's talking about it, you know, but 13 people dying, you know, over 300,000 people being, you know, affected, thousands upon thousands of people being, you know, moved out of their homes and all this kind of stuff. No, you know, they're not batting an eye. You know, it was funny. The Babylon Bee, which is kind of a more of a Christian Onion website, yeah, it's a satirical website. It made a joke about how Barack Obama dedicated his 18th hole shot on the golf course to the flood victims of Louisiana. And as funny and ridiculous as that sounds, I mean, they didn't show up. They haven't done anything. And yes, them showing up, their presence in Louisiana would give more press, would give
which would get more aid.
Yeah, exactly. And I will say this, you know, back to kind of what we opened up this with, on social media, I can appreciate seeing the devastation, but what I would appreciate more is seeing more and more people posting links to, you know, the actual Baton Rouge website that is for donations.
Yeah, Baton Rouge Area Foundation. If you want to donate, you know, the American Red Cross. You know, some people are skeptical sometimes. I've seen some of the centers, and they're great. Celtic Studios is housing thousands of people, and they're doing a remarkable job. And the Baton Rouge Area Foundation, which disperses money, you can find them at braf.org, and you can make a donation to them. I have.
Yeah, A-Rod just tweeted at us, and we're going to retweet that. That same link you're talking about, and so we're going to retweet that. If anybody has any other donation portals, you know, any websites or anything like that about what people need, tweet them at us. We'll look at them and we'll retweet accordingly. But yes, I mean, the need is much. I mean, understanding the devastation is important, but the need is much more important. And you're talking about Central and Denham Springs. My mom grew up going to church in Denham Springs, and I want to say they might have lived there, but she graduated from Central High School. I mean, those areas affect my family. They affect, you know, where my mom grew up and her friends that she's had for, you know, a lifetime. And it's sad. It's really upsetting that, you know, they'll point out George Bush's faults during Katrina, but they say nothing about Obama.
It's freaking remarkable, the hypocrisy. And the media is like, well, we hate when you right-wingers point out the media. We're not just one group. Well, then how come it was like pulling teeth getting coverage for this tragedy?
Yeah.
Because it's a Republican area. It's a southern area. The electoral votes won't go to Hillary Clinton. It's shameful. It's freaking shameful. Well, and I've said this about the press corps here in Baton Rouge, the capital city of Louisiana. They're small, they're talented, and unfortunately a lot of them are because this is a small town and everyone likes each other and everyone likes a good cup of beer. The press corps is a little too close to the governor's office. I'm just going to say it. And a lot of these people, I like them a lot, but there's a lot of people. A lot of times you're in a position because your editor won't let you or you won't get access that it's not in your interest to write a certain story. So what I'm doing, folks, in addition, please give to charity first. Charity matters more than anything I want to do. But in addition to that is I want to put together a team of bloggers. I've already identified 4 of them. And I started a GoFundMe. I'm just trying to raise a couple of bucks, $2,000. We're already halfway there, to putting together a team to tell these stories, to shoot the footage, to go into these homes and sit with people and talk with them about their tragedies, to talk about some of the political stories. The governor was able to successfully ignore the question because he attacked Trump, and then the press is like, why would you attack him if he gave to charity, gave supplies, didn't do a press conference? Donald Trump did remarkably well. I'm going to be honest, I've never seen a politician do so well. He didn't clog up the highways. The governor said he's going to use hundreds of police. It wasn't even hundreds. The highest estimate is 39 officers. I was in the highway following him. It didn't clog up any highway. Anything that the Democrats have said has been false. And it really pisses me off because it's a fucking lie.
Well, how low do you have to go to try to call out somebody when he's trying to. Granted, I mean, he is on the election trail and the campaign trail, whatever. But I mean, he's helping. Why would you?
We wanted it. We, the people, are in freaking control. We can choose to dissent from our leaders if we want. And the problem is that the governor, who is a conservative Democrat, took Obama's side, covered for him, said no one should show up. Then Obama embarrassed him and said, I got to show up because Trump showed up. And the reporters are barely writing that story because they know they'll be deprived of access. They know there's not a large enough press corps to harass the governor. That the governor can just go lock himself up in Command Central or his flooded governor's mansion. I mean, that's inappropriate. So we need bloggers to write the story. So if you go to my Twitter, twitter.com/ALI, you'll find a GoFundMe link. If you've given to charity, and only if you've given to charity, please consider making an additional donation to help us cover some of these these stories using bloggers. I want to be your editor. I want to be your curator. I'll write some of the stories myself, but I have the resources, I have the good judgment, and I have the access to tell some of these stories that we need to tell. We need to compare this to Hurricane Katrina, the response and the damage. We need to analyze the curfew, whether it's helping or hurting. I mean, spoiler alert, it's killing Baton Rouge businesses right now. Everyone's supposed to be in their house by midnight, and before it was 9 p.m., then it was 10 p.m. I mean, we're adults here. There's only been 4 cases of looting. The good stories need to be told. The Christian stories need to be told. And I'm so tired. So GoFundMe, it's on GoFundMe. It's called Let's Get Better Louisiana Flood Coverage. You can also find it on my Twitter, twitter.com/ALI. And there's a link. If you guys can help, cool. If you can't help, please tweet out the link. Please put it on your Facebook, because we have got to start creating our own media, because the media is not going to do it for us. They're in the tank for the Democratic Party. And until we break that interest and that incestuous relationship, we're not going to have our republic, folks.
Yeah,
no greater threat.
Yeah, well, I was going to say, to respond to your Periscope audience, somebody said that it was disgraceful to pander to voters in the way that Trump did, from what I can give the context. I mean, it's not disgraceful that he had truckloads of supplies. Hold on. Did you read what I just read?
It was something crazy. He said, I sound insane. He's not here. I'm here. He wasn't following Trump. I did. He doesn't talk to the local reporters here. I do. He doesn't go clean and gut houses or donate to charity. I did both of those. I don't have any time for backbenching partisan Democrats who would seek to divide people and deprive a state that I love of aid. They can go straight to hell.
Oh yeah, well, what's obnoxious to even say that is, like, you know, if you're trying to say that the media is not showing something because of their Democratic bent or something like that, good for being independent.
Independently dumb.
Independent. You took the words right out of my mouth. So as far as
independent too, I left the Republican Party.
Well, hey, I mean, let's look at. We brought up on Wednesday the guy that got shot in Milwaukee and his sister.
Hey, buddy, on Periscope, put up or shut up. Go to the braf.org and why don't you put a donation, and why don't you screenshot your receipt and you send it to Dissent Show on Twitter. I don't care that you're helping people in other areas. I care about my neighbors, and they need help. And Trump's visit helped them. The officers loved it. The people of Louisiana loved it. There's 3 people who didn't. The governor of Louisiana, who's a Democrat, the president of the United States, who's a Democrat, and Hillary Clinton, who's a Democratic nominee. I don't give a damn about the powers that be. I give a damn about the people of Louisiana. And we wanted Trump here. We want celebrities here. We want other folks who are here who are going to do in and out, so that we can get the attention that we need, and we can get the attention, let's say, that Haiti got. Oh, except for, wait, the Clinton Foundation ripped those victims off, and now they have less money in Haiti. So please, save me with your charitable acts. I don't need your resume. Yours against mine. I'd love to compare it, but right now, my neighbors and my friends are in need of help. Please, take a seat.
So, well, he said the free advertisement, or she, or I can't tell from the distance I'm away from my phone. The free advertisement, it's I wouldn't say it's disgraceful. What's disgraceful is the president not showing up, Hillary Clinton not showing up.
He didn't hold a press conference either.
Yeah.
I want people to understand, it would have been entirely appropriate if Donald Trump had held a press conference, but he didn't. When he went in and out, they were 15-minute stops, and there was 3 or 4 of them. He didn't clog up the highways. This was one of the most well-planned things. I've been in politics for 10 years professionally. I've never seen anything like this. I was texting with his advanced guy and calling people, and even the campaign state chairman didn't know where Donald Trump was going to go. This was done to help people, and for the right reasons. We asked Donald Trump to come here. The people of Louisiana wanted him to come here. He didn't come here for an electoral vote. He's going to get Louisiana. He's going to get it by a landslide. I mean, it's absolutely crazy to assert that a guy who is traveling with the national media. And guess what, Devin? He only brought 2 members of the press with him, the AP and Fox News. He didn't even bring the full press corps with him. I mean, it is just detestable what they're asserting, because it's not just wrong. It is the highest form of wrong. It is a lie built by the DNC, and they're going to hell for it. And everybody who's partnering with them, they're going to hell for it. How dare they?
Yeah, I mean, this opinion, and I'm sorry if you feel targeted, but you put the target on yourself. This opinion is that of people who are ignorant to what the mainstream media does. You say you're an independent, you're saying all these things, but what does the mainstream media do? And just like Trump said in his Charlotte speech, they take one thing he does, they break it down syllable by syllable, they spend a week on it till their head explodes, and all they can ever talk about is things that he could potentially have done wrong. Nothing about what Hillary Clinton's done. Nothing about what Obama is doing. And that's exactly what you're doing here. You're calling out Trump for doing something for a community in need. And
it was widely praised.
And what's this? Widely praised. That aside, that's disgraceful for you to even try to point out any sort of implied evil. You know, there's a book. It's called The Conflict of Visions. I challenge you to read that. That is a book by Thomas Sowell, and hopefully you're intelligent enough to know who that man is. He's one of the most intelligent thinkers of our time. And the Conflict of Visions, pretty much it talks about how you can either do something for yourself or you can do something for someone else. And you know what? And when it all boils down, even if you're doing it for somebody else, you're still doing it for yourself. So enjoy that read and come back and tell me how you feel about it, because even though he did it for possible votes, he still did it to help people out. That's $100,000 more than what they had before. That's truckloads more of supplies than they had before. And it's shameful and ridiculous as an American that you'd rather point the finger at somebody doing good than point the finger at the people that had a better opportunity, and a media that had a better opportunity to help thousands upon thousands of people. I don't care if you do anything nationwide. I mean, that's great and all. You might do great work. However, that is ridiculous. And the fact that I have friends and family that are affected by this makes me even more angry. But anyway, we are running out of time. Once again, that is Conflict of Visions, written by Thomas Sowell. And if you don't have a copy, you can DM me. I'll follow you back. You can DM me, and I'll mail the book to you. Anyways, thank you for tuning in this Sunday night. If you have not subscribed, do so. bit.ly/Dissent Show. If you haven't followed us, it's at Dissent Show, DISSENT Show. And Ollie's at ALI. I'm at Devin Wills. And then our producer on the back end, Giuseppe Cucci, that is at G Cucci, which is CUCCI, the number 12. Subscribe on YouTube and then set up the notifications. Those notifications will give you heads up of when we're going live, what videos we've set up. We actually will be interviewing an author who wrote a book this week, and we're going to post that next Sunday. So the show, we might do a little live segment and then post the video itself. But be sure to check that out. And as far as us moving forward, we will be posting links to Ollie's GoFundMe page. We'll be posting links to the Red Cross, the Baton Rouge, what was that?
Area Foundation.
Area Foundation. So we'll be connecting you with that. I challenge you to find out what they need. If they need water, if they need toilet paper, if they need diapers, if they need food, canned food, whatever, send it. If they need boxes of nails, send it. Do what you can to figure it out.
A lot of diapers, both adult and for children. There's a need for toilet paper and napkins. off-brand cleaning supplies. Those are the major needs that I'm hearing from the shelters here. We don't need clothes, especially used clothes. What we need are those disposable supplies because we've got to clean up the mold. We've got to clean up some of this stuff. And you know what? I want to let you know, Guy on Periscope, thank you for what you do in fighting mental illness and stuff like that across the country. I still want to challenge you to donate to the Baton Rouge Area Foundation. I want to encourage all the listeners to. And I like a lively debate. I appreciate a lively debate. This show is not a Republican show, a conservative show, a liberal show, or a Democrat show. This show is built on the concept that we, the people, are allowed to disagree with our leaders, that we have an obligation to voice that dissent and to organize that dissent. We're going to organize that here on the Dissent Show. So find us. Please subscribe on YouTube at bit.ly.com/Dissent Show. That's all one word. And we look forward to seeing y'all on our midweek show. That's Wednesday nights at 9 p.m. Eastern Time or 8 p.m. Central Time. We're going to give you another update on Louisiana flood. We're going to go through months of recovery, and I can't wait for all of you guys to be there with us. That's been this week's show. Thank you.